What's up guys, it's Jordan here and welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're going to be talking about shields in Rainbow Six Siege and going over their strengths, weaknesses and tips and tricks on how to maximize efficiency when using them. So to start this video off, we're going to be talking about some basic facts about shields. When you're using a shield, barring Montaigne, your head down to your waist is covered when standing, and if you crouch it provides an overall better protection. So the majority of the time when you're using a shield you want to be crouched in order to maximize the amount of area of your body that is being covered by the shield. When using a shield you will be equipped with a sidearm and only a sidearm. You won't get any other weapons to use, and it is best to always have a laser sight on this sidearm. That is because the best way to shoot the sidearm is not aiming, because aiming exposes your head and can actually make it very easy to get a headshot. There are only certain times when you want to aim, and I'll get onto all of that later, but for the start the best thing I say is to put a laser sight on your gun so that you can get a lot better accuracy when hip firing. Do keep in mind that shields have gone over lots of changes throughout the time that Siege has been out. So for instance, characters like Blitz now aim a lot slower, so if you are looking to aim, try and get a headshot, do bear in mind that you will now aim very slowly as Blitz, meaning that you only ever want to do it when you know that someone isn't going to be looking right at you or shoot at you, because the time it takes for you to lower your shield and aim your gun, you will most likely get killed. Now let's move on to the main point, which is the strengths and weaknesses of using a shield. So there are many points for both of these, and I'll try and go over them as much as I can and go into as much detail as I possibly can. So obviously the main strength of a shield is being able to take a lot of damage without actually being killed. This means you can go in front of all your teammates and take point and basically keep them alive. As a shield user, you can look into windows and peek corners safely, meaning that you can inform your teammates of what's coming up, and as well as that you can then move into that room and take point. Sometimes you won't even need to shoot, so if you go into a room and you're going back into a corner, most likely all the defenders will then look at you and try to attack you, because they try to get rid of shield users very quickly because they are a threat. This then gives your teammates the opportunity to take out these enemies without them even realizing that they're being shot at by your teammates. Alternatively, shield users are also very good at 1v1ing people, because if you are going across a room and you have an enemy across the other side of the room and they're trying to shoot you, providing you are positioned correctly, they won't be able to kill you, and if you have a laser sight on your gun, it's actually not too difficult to shoot them whilst hip firing. So this basically gives you the opportunity to take down an enemy while completely covering yourself, providing you are crouched. Things to watch out for when going up against enemies is that if they hit you, they will knock your shield out of your hand for a second, leaving you exposed. So the best way to 1v1 someone if you are a shield user is to keep your distance from them. Like I said, if they get close to you, they will take you out. The second thing is you will find that people will try to take it with nitro cells, since it is the most effective way to dispatch a shield user. So you always want to try and keep yourself a good amount of distance so that they won't hit you, and even more distance so that if they try to throw a C4, it's going to have to go quite far, giving you the opportunity to either shoot the C4, shoot the guy through the C4, or move away from it. Blitz is also a character who is especially good at 1v1ing because he's able to blind people. As I said earlier, Blitz has now got a very slow aiming speed, meaning it takes him a very long time to lower his shield and pull out his pistol. However, you can blind the enemy before this. However, you still do have the issue of the enemy possibly getting a lucky shot whilst blind firing, and when they're blinded, causing you to still get killed, as when you aim your head is very exposed. However, if you are trying to get a kill whilst aiming, Blitz is the best character to do this for, because like I said, you can blind them. Montaigne is the other main shield user, and he applies more to being a team player. When Montaigne extends his shields, he has full 180 protection, meaning if he was to stand in the corner, there is no way that you can physically kill him unless of course the wall behind him is destroyable. As well as this, if an enemy tries to hit him with melee, it won't knock his shield out of his hand just due to the sheer size of it, but this is only when it's extended. This makes Montaigne perfect for the role of going into the room and taking and drawing all of the enemy fire in that room. Like Blitz, he also does have a sidearm and can also hit with his shield, meaning he can also get killed, but this is his best role, meaning if you do play him, it's best to stick with your team and support them instead of going lone wolf and trying to get kills. Now let's talk about some disadvantages of shield users. The first one is the obvious one. They are very loud and they are very slow due to obviously carrying a very big shield. This means that if you're going into a room and trying to sneak up on an enemy, you'll never do it because they will always hear you coming from a mile. Even if you're walking, it still makes a lot of sound. Do keep that in mind when you're playing a shield user. They are also very slow, making it very difficult for them to navigate the map very quickly, and also making them a very easy target for people with nitro cells. Shields are also very renowned for being glitchy, and by this I mean there have been several occasions where people have had shields extended. Even myself, I've had this happen where you've had the shield up, there's no way you can possibly get shot, and yet bullets have gone through the shield and caused you to die, which is one of the most frustrating things to ever happen when you're playing as a shield user, because it basically makes them pointless. Another disadvantage is that they are very slow to aim and also extremely exposed when they aim. When you're aiming as a shield user, your character lowers his shield, meaning that the only part of your body that is exposed is your head, providing you are crouched. This means that when an enemy shoots at you, they are most likely going to hit your head, causing an instant kill. Now that we've got that out of the way, we're going to be talking about the ways to to maximize efficiency as a shield user. So we're going to go over some tips and tricks on what you should do when you're playing any of the shield characters. When using a shield, you should always be in a crouched position. I touched on this earlier, but if you aren't in a crouched position, you're going to be leaving your feet exposed, which again makes having a shield almost pointless because you're not actually protecting yourself from a whole lot. When crouched and facing an enemy directly, you are completely covering yourself, meaning there is no way that enemy can kill you, barring obviously if it was to glitch out like I said earlier. When moving through a room with enemies in it, also keep an eye on your surroundings. If possible, back yourself into a corner, as this provides almost complete protection of your entire body from multiple angles. One thing you should never do is back yourself out to a wall that is destroyable, because this is going to make you a very easy target for people to go around the back of you and just shoot you through the wall. As well as this, it's also a good idea to try and avoid engaging with multiple enemies at one time, as this allows two enemies to get different angles on you, which is going to cause them to be able to kill you very easily. It is not hard to get a good angle on a shield, especially if you're playing someone like Blitz. Shields are only 100% effective if you are directly facing the enemy, so if you have two opponents against you, it's very easy for them to get the drop on you. When going for a kill, it's also good to know whether or not it's a good idea to aim or to try and go for the hipfire kill. This all depends on distance and location of the enemy. If the enemy is very close to you, your best bet is to try and hipfire, or if they're really close to you, even go for the melee kill. As I said earlier, do make sure that the enemy doesn't hit you, because it will knock the shield out of your hand, leaving you completely exposed. If you decide to aim down sights, then the best thing you can do is make sure that you're already near head aiming height before you decide to pull out your gun and lower your shield. The second you lower your shield, you are extremely exposed and you're going to be a very easy headshot target. If you struggle with aiming and getting long distance headshots, a good idea is to choose a character that has either flashbangs or smoke, or use Blitz's flash ability. This will allow you to blind the enemy or temporarily distort their vision in order for you to get closer, allowing you a greater chance to kill them without having to aim your gun. Keep in mind that it is best to hipfire whenever possible, because it completely covers you. As a shield user, you should never enter a room from rappelling, as when you rappel, the shield goes in your back instead of holding it, leaving you completely exposed. This, on top of the fact that you only have a pistol, means that you are no good on the side of a building. As a shield user, you should only ever enter through a building that allows you to stand, as you can then still pull out your shield and enter through the window completely protected. So now that you know effectively how to use a shield, we're going to go over the best ways to counter a shield user. The biggest thing about a shield user is knowing the optimal distance to keep. These are the two key things to keep in mind. The first one is staying too far away from them. This is a double-edged sword, because although you are far away from them and you've removed that aspect of them being able to kill you whilst blind firing, you also won't be in range to throw a nitro cell, which is one of the easiest ways to dispatch a shield user. That being said, they are also more likely to aim, leaving their head exposed. This means they will have a greater accuracy on you, but you will also have a greater accuracy on them. On top of that, they will also have a pistol, meaning that you will have the advantage over them. However, do bear in mind that every gun is a one-shot kill headshot in this game. Staying too close to them also has its advantages and disadvantages. The biggest one is being within range to throw a nitro cell. Although this is the easiest way to kill them, it also leaves you very exposed to the fact that a shield user is able to effectively shoot you without having to lower their shield. If you don't have a nitro cell, then it is not a good idea to get too close to a shield user unless you're trying to rush them and knock the shield out of their hand. So now that you know about optimal distances, what is the best way to dispatch a shield user? The main thing is never go head to head with a shield user, because you will most likely lose. This isn't always the case, but it's best to try and avoid this situation if possible. The very best way to dispatch a shield user is with the nitro cell. If you can get a nitro cell nearby them, it doesn't have to be right on top of them, it will almost certainly kill them. The great thing about this is you can throw a nitro cell from behind cover, so you don't even need to expose yourself in order to get a nitro cell near the shield user. The second best way is to try and get the flank, as this allows you open access to the most exposed area of a shield user, which is their back. You can do this by either roaming the map and trying to get around different rooms to get behind them, or you can simply try and go through walls if you have a shotgun. The final and most risky way to dispatch a shield user is to rush them. If you rush them, you'll get within melee distance as quick as possible and be able to knock the shield out of their hand. Do bear in mind that they can actually hit you before you hit them, which will obviously kill you, as melee is a one-hit kill. But if you can get close enough and hit them, it will leave them completely exposed for about 2 to 3 seconds, in which you can very easily kill them. This tactic is only really good if you're out of options and can't get away from the shield user and don't have a nitro cell. So with all these tips taken into account, you should now be able to effectively use a shield to be able to dispatch enemies very easily, and also counter a shield if you go up against one. I hope this video did help you guys out. If it did, then please do drop a like on this video and also subscribe. It helps me out massively. I do post lots of other Siege content. I have a bunch of other guides on my channel, so do be sure to definitely check them out. Hopefully they'll be able to help you guys out even further. Anyway guys, I hope you have an awesome rest of your day and rest of your weekend, and I'll see you in the next one.